Ed's a fairly amazing guy. Ed has the ability to, in his own way, tell people to go to hell. And they come away saying, you know, I've been thinking about traveling someplace warm. That's not such a bad idea.
You know, he's pretty unique. It's going to be a long time before we find another Ed Clark.
In my time of working at the Wildlife Center and hearing Ed speak, there are certain phrases that come up from time to time.
How are you doing, Ed? Fair to partly cloudy.
Never too late to have a happy childhood.
Where there's a will, I want to be in it.
I hire the best people possible and then get out of their way.
And where he really won me over was his teaching the world to care for and to care about wildlife and the environment.
There's the pebble, but you don't know exactly where the ripples will go or how far out they will reach.
Started as an organization called the Shenandoah Valley Wildlife Treatment and Rehabilitation Center, a name that will live in nobody's memory.
The beginnings of the Wildlife Center were really humble.
I just remember Stuart and Ed doing like everything. We were in a double wide trailer and, you know, doing everything in terms of the animal care, but also, oh my gosh, you know, things are leaking out of, you know, this toilet, and what do we do with that?
It was so simple, and yet I'm still not surprised by what it is today, because things were growing and changing so fast that it almost made our heads spin.
It is doing things now that would have been unimaginable 40 years ago. It's doing things now that we wouldn't have thought about 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And Ed is part of that vision. He's a pathfinder who helps us identify those opportunities, very real opportunities, not just pie in the sky opportunities, but things that we really can do to make a difference.
It's a beautiful thing, and it took a lot of courage, I'm sure, in your younger years to stay on this path when there were probably people who thought you were crazy. Maybe there still are people who think that, but look what you've enabled.
I mean, obviously it's been a very important part of his life, but I think he has made the Wildlife Center an important part of the lives of so many people.
Ed is someone I think of as a true mentor to myself and others within the wildlife profession. You know, on the one hand, the greatest ambassador for our wildlife and to the public, and can't wait to tell people about it. On the other hand, he's a very smart policy mind, and he's also a great businessman.
Really good leaders know how to step in, make a decision, give guidance when that's needed, but also maybe pull back and let the people learn on their own. And I think Ed has a great ability to do that. And I think it's why so many good people have come out of the Wildlife Center.
I just can't think of one person on planet Earth that could have brought the Wildlife Center out of its humble beginnings in a barn to the world-class facility and organization that it is today. You know, that takes a great leader. And Ed, you are that great leader that we needed to do this. Of course, he had all of us behind him, and I'm sure he must have known that whatever he did, we were going to back him. After the first few months. He had to win us all over first. But after the first few months.
Ed, I think it is safe to say that you and the Wildlife Center of Virginia have significantly changed the trajectory of my life.
Ed's had an immense impact on my entire career because it's been here. He's created this place. He has had this really strategic vision of what the Wildlife Center is and should be and where it should go.
For me personally, working at the centre gave me such invaluable skills. And while I might have traded black bears and bald eagles for kiwis and kakapo, I use what I learned at the centre every single day.
The Wildlife Center served such an important role as a stepping stone into my career in the conservation medicine field, and honestly, I don't know where I would be without it.
You know, even though I didn't know it at the beginning, that was the seed that allowed me to do everything that I do now, and also, you know, share that knowledge with lots of veterinarians that, you know, have graduated from here, and externs too that have come from many other places too.
The Wildlife Center really helped to shape who I am as a veterinarian. I received an incredible amount of training there and a lot of opportunities, and that would not have been possible without Ed and without the center and everything that he built and all of the people that he put into place to continue that legacy.
It made me want to get up in the morning. It inspired me and made me want to make a difference in the world, and that's kind of what I did in my own way, is went on to a teaching career in life science with not just here's the SOLs, here's what I'm supposed to do, here's what the test is about, but to really try to inspire kids, connect them with nature, with wildlife, and to see things from a new point of view.
And just finished up, I think, 17 years in wildlife conservation to some degree with the Department of Wildlife Resources, formerly Department of Game and Inland Fisheries. And that opportunity I had at the Wildlife Center and the intern program that Ed set up there years and years ago, 80s, 90s, is kind of my start point.
Thank you for everything that you've done for me over the years, for teaching me and for mentoring me through a lot of really difficult conversations and growth for myself personally.
You had that impact on me, helping to open doors, open windows, open a vision of a better world for all of us.
Knowing Ed, learning from him, working on the legislative issues that he has come to me about, educated me about how to protect our wildlife, and it's been an honor to have been a part of all that he's done.
He is just absolutely one of my favorite human beings.
And he's so much fun too. Like he'll still email me and like check in on me to make sure like just something will remind him of my mom, and she always had to make sure he was in line with her Congo stare.
Sometimes in life, people around you are closer to you. They kind of have an idea about what they think you should be. Or they kind of set those limits and those barriers in your way, saying, you know, we don't think you could do, but, you know, maybe here's like, you know, second best kind of option. And I just thought, I left that day thinking like, wow, somebody as, you know, inspiring and incredible as Ed thinks I can do more. What can I do? And actually, I've kind of taken that with me even now. Like I found my voice again because of Ed.
When I started at the Wildlife Center, of course, I had an interest in wildlife, but I think that working with Ed really showed me what I could do with that interest. Having that kind of empowerment, I didn't realize that that's what it was at the time, you know, but now I do. And my role now is as Vice President of Finance and Operations. And really that foundation came 100% from that conversation with Ed. You know, that changed the direction of my life.
When somebody like Ed has made such an impact on your life, it's just hard to put it into words.
I actually was working in the accessibility department at my local college for the last couple of years. So kind of inspiring students the way that Ed inspired me, showing them that there's really nothing they can't achieve. You know, a medical diagnosis or mental health diagnosis is just that. It's words on paper. It doesn't define you and it doesn't define where you're going to go. But I have to say, I think a lot of where I am now and a lot of the things I've achieved are because of that conversation. It was probably one of the first times I would say in my younger adult life that I actually felt like somebody saw me. They didn't see what made me different in the sense that they didn't see it as a negative. They saw it as, you know, a positive and something that you could build on and you could actually use towards goals or towards helping others, which I thought was fantastic.
Anyway, it means a lot to us
that he would take that time. And he is such a good person to do that.
Ed Jr., you have done a fantastic job, and you have always been my number one son, and I'm really proud of you and glad that you are finally able to retire.
So congratulations on 40 years for the center and a well-deserved retirement for Ed.
Yeah, no, just that I'm very skeptical Ed is truly retiring. And I don't know what retirement means to Ed. I guess that means he'll spend a few more weekends at his cabin or something like that. But I find it hard to imagine a Virginia wildlife conservation world without Ed Clark being a key part of that. And something tells me that we'll be seeing a lot of him in the future still.
Don't go too far away. Don't. And I know he can't. He's going to be dabbling.
But if I know Ed, he'll probably be just as active in retirement as he was when he was working. And as some of the great people in the field have shown, it just means that maybe they get to do a little bit more of what they want to and a little less of the things that you have to.
I do hope that you figure out how to relax a little bit and have some fun after working in this field for so long.
It takes some adjusting. At first you feel like, I'm cheating, I'm playing hooky or something. This just doesn't feel right. I don't have to set an alarm, what? It's really weird in the beginning. And then as you just relax into it, I'm busier now than I've ever been, which is a riot, but I know that that'll happen for Ed.
Guess I can't tease him about being older.
Ed earned this retirement. He put so many years in and did such an amazing job that no one deserves this retirement more than Ed.
Ed, I can't even imagine trying to count the number of lives that you have positively impacted, both human and animal.
The Wildlife Centre is such an incredible legacy to be leaving behind. And not just for the individual patients who walk through the door, but also as a training centre for future generations of wildlife veterinarians and rehabbers.
And so I just hope that from all these videos that you are able to know how much you've meant to people over time.
42 years, more than 95,000 wild animals helped by the Wildlife Center of Virginia. What an amazing legacy.
I just want to say on behalf of all the wild things, oh, oops, maybe you haven't been working with those. I think you did some in Africa. I just want to say on behalf of all the wild things and all the young vets out there that have had training with you and been mentored by you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, friend, although you are retired from the Wildlife Center of Virginia, you will never be forgotten.
I'm going to continue to support the Wildlife Center. I'm going to continue to find ways to spread the word about the great work that you do. And I'm going to still try to live down the fact that a one-eyed possum, the naming rights to a one-eyed possum raised more money than I did.
Thank you for just being who you are and taking care of everybody the way you have and just being such an awesome human being.
On behalf of the board, congratulations on your retirement, Ed. You've dedicated 42 years of your life to the betterment of animals and their native environment.
We all thank you. And here's to new adventures and new memories, and we love you.
You know, if we were long distance, we would say, okay, at 9 o'clock your time and 6 o'clock my time, we'll have a drink. So I'd like to wish Ed a very happy retirement, and cheers to you, Ed.
Good luck in your next chapter, Ed. Cheers to you.
My wish for you is that you savor this moment and relish the opportunity for others to recognize you for all you've done so far as you're driven by your passion for wildlife and the environment. I love you, sweetheart.
Well, there you go.